for coming out again. Now, you're probably thinking, why the hell is he playing Dark Souls 2? That game is garbage. Well, first off, I happen to like Dark Souls 2 for one. And two, Dark Souls 2 right now is what I have to use for my topic of discussion this time today. Basically what I wanted to talk about, as you can see from the title, is just, the immersive experience, when it comes to role play and creating your character in Dark Souls, a little bit of Fashion Souls, and also just, the aspect of cosplay and things like that. So I chose this one because in Dark Souls 3 I haven't actually finished my, the different characters I wanted to make. There's one I'm working on, but he's not completed, but since I played this game, I don't know how many times, this is one where I actually have completed. So what we're looking at here I'll show you real quick in the player info, is my creation of the Chosen Undead. And I'll explain his look and everything, but as you know, Chosen Undead was the, what the player character was referred to in the original Dark Souls. So what I was doing with this build was creating my own sort of a custom lore for the transition between Souls 1 and 2, because, I'm that type of nerd. I actually get really involved in roleplay when it comes to, not just this game, but any game where you have character creation. I like to give them a backstory and things like that. So basically what this design is the Chosen Undead from the original game, after the events. Because, in this game, how it begins is your player character kind of walks from God knows where to this place, not without even knowing why. He just kind of wanders here. So this backstory I gave him was that, let's find a place to fight real quick. Let's beat up on some people while we're talking about this. But basically what I wanted to do is make a transition between Souls 1 and this Souls. So my backstory behind the character was that after the events, it's kind of playing off of the Night Solaire. I know a lot of people are tired of Night Solaire because Praise the Sun's been beaten to death, but basically it's playing off of the lore of the Solaire side quest. How if you play the quest and achieve it properly, then Solaire will actually be present to help you defeat Gwyn, the Lord of Cinder. So basically how my character story goes is that, he and Solaire did jolly cooperation throughout the whole game and defeated Gwyn together. Now, my history behind that is to link as we all know, why didn't I pick up that item? Probably because it was something I didn't want. It's probably something stupid. Hang on, I got sidetracked. Yeah, that's what I thought. And then these Hide Knights are going to be alive because I already beat this area, but I just wanted something to fight. So we're not just looking at them standing in Majula like a moron. But what I wanted to, what I was basically trying to accomplish was that after they defeat Gwyn, to link the fire, you pretty much have to sacrifice yourself. So my story is that Solaire made the sacrifice and he linked the fire, and to honor his heroic sacrifice, the Chosen Undead, basically it was one of those things like take my sword type deal. That's why he's using the Sunlight Sword. And so he just basically carried on and just wandered to Earth, hence the Wanderer's coat that he's wearing. And the use of the lightning miracles, because, Solaire used those too. So, my player character in the original Souls, they always are. I usually just make, in any RPG, I always like the, just the warrior type build, like your basic melee character, strength build, just kind of go in, beat people to death with your sword. So that's what he was. So he had no faith and no intelligence, pretty much. My playthrough. I didn't even know this guy could fit into it. In my playthrough of the original Souls, my main character pretty much had no faith, no intelligence. He just beat people up. So where I wanted to go with this is that, you know, the events, what basically everything he went through in the original Dark Souls is what gave him faith. You know, he actually saw the gods. Hell, he even fought one at the end of the game. So he now has faith. And, you know, traveling around with Solaire, who has an immense amount of faith. I mean, he pretty much worships an old god of war that no one even knows exists anymore because all of his statues were destroyed. So that's what gave him his faith, and he can now use, you know, miracles. That's where I was going. Now, at the time, when I did this was before Dark Souls 3, so I had to alter his story a bit. Because I used to think that, you know, like a lot of people did, that Solaire was the lost son of Gwyn, but you know, we learned from Souls 3 that just wasn't the case. He was just a knight who worshipped the old guy. Man, these guys used to be a lot harder. I'm way too OP for this. But now, you know, I have to alter it. So basically what I'm saying is that Solaire actually restored his faith, and that's why he can use the miracles. And he's using, basically he's just a mashup. He's basically just a copycat Solaire at this point. And what's interesting about it is that I tried to give him a look, like kind of a weathered appearance, like he's been through a lot of shit, hence the torn coat. And he's wearing, for the most part, the Elite Knight armor, except for the gloves. Those are the Ferrum gloves that he's wearing there. Because I just like the idea of matching, you know, steel gauntlets versus having a leather one and a steel one like the Elite Knights that usually comes with. And so it's supposed to say that, you know, it's throughout his travels or whatnot, his armor got messed up, broken, torn, what have you. He couldn't repair it, so he just is kind of wearing what's left. What's funny about this, though, is that there's actually an armor set in Dark Souls 3 that has that appearance and story. There was once a knight who just been through so much shit that his outfit is now kind of makeshift and, you know, woven together. And that's it's interesting because I kind of did that build, you know, an armor set, created my own version of that set way back in Dark Souls 2. So I will be bringing, most likely, the Chosen Undead back to Souls 3, and I'll just be using the Fallen Knight armor, you know, to do that. But what made me bring this up, because I know that a lot of people do fashion souls and things like that, but I was wondering, like, how far does it go with you other guys who do it? Do you actually, you know, role play, create backstories for your characters, things like that? I'd be really interested to, you know, both see and hear the stories behind some of your builds. I do have more builds on Souls 2, the original Souls 2. This one, Scholar of the First Sin, I didn't really play all that much. I didn't like it as much as the original Souls, so I don't have too many. I'm thinking about revisiting, though, and making more builds, because there's still a lot of cool stuff that you can do with the game, and that is kind of a way of keeping it alive, you know, in my case anyways. And then you know, I did talk about cosplay, so let me just show you guys that really quick. We'll just quit the game. I don't really care if something comes and beats me up when I restart it or whatever. It's a game I played before. I pretty much know everything about everything. Okay, we're gonna continue. Then here's my Lost Undead character. I'm not gonna load him up. Basically, he's just wearing the Ferrum armor. He pretty much is a copy of what's on the cover of the box. I didn't name him the Bearer of the Curse. I just named him Lost, because essentially that's what he was. He was lost. He was just kind of wandering around and ended up here. At least that's what I gathered from the opening cutscene. But cosplay, in every game, every single game, one of these like create your character RPG type games, I have this weird tick where I have to insert Conan the Barbarian into it. So this is my version of Conan the Barbarian for Dark Souls 2. And I really like this armor, the bandit armor. I wish it made its way into Dark Souls 3. and if it has, I just hadn't found it. So if there is one and you guys know where it's at, please let me know, because I'm working on the Conan build for that too. And I feel like this armor here, this chest piece, will be the best for it. But why I like inserting Conan is because he's one of those characters that just goes with anything. You know, for the most part, he you know, he doesn't really have a set history, because all of his, everything that goes on with him is just, you know, stories people tell by word of mouth, some exaggerated, some not. Just the only thing that really remains the same is how he looks. And a lot of people attribute Conan to the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, or the you know, the old Marvel comic. And so he always has that traditional quote-unquote barbarian appearance, you know, like the He-Man look, no pants, things like that. But you know, from the Conan novels, he actually will just wear, you know, the clothing of wherever he's at. So like whatever's the traditional garb of the place he's at, he'll just wear those clothes. That's kind of the way he's always been. So I mean, he'll match any setting for the most part. I try to give him that cliche look as close as I possibly can with whatever game I play. I would say the best Conan the Barbarian like cosplay experience you could have is, you know, create them in Skyrim. Like, to not only do the, you know, weapons and armor and stuff you can get match better, but just the whole world design and everything is very Conan-esque. You know, so I really like doing that. But there's my Conan the Barbarian, and then I showed you guys my chosen undead. When the characters that I'm creating and their backstories in Dark Souls 3 are complete, then, you know, I'll go ahead and show you those. But I just wanted to do a little fashion shows, you know, fashion souls today. Show you guys some of my builds in Dark Souls 2, and just bring up that topic of, you know, role play, immersive gaming, and, you know, cosplay, or just fashion souls in general. So, you know, sound off in the comments, man. Let me know if you guys do the same, like if you created actual characters and gave them backstories and whatnot. And please share them with me, man. I'd love to hear those stories and just see what you guys built up. Like, I like looking at other people's builds and stuff. So feel free to share. Make a video if you want, link it to me, or just, you know, tell me the story in words. But that's it for this. I'm gonna, now that I have it in, I feel like playing, so I'm gonna go ahead and, you know, wreak some havoc as Conan the Barbarian in Souls 2. So thank you all again for coming out. Check out my previous videos. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Y'all have a good one.